We are going to be looking at how to tell and calculate clicks to impressions ratio. Now you hear a lot of people, well, mostly me, say, what is your clicks to impressions ratio? Or what is your clicks to purchase ratio? Now the clicks to purchase ratio is a little bit more ambiguous, and we'll be covering that in the next video. However, your clicks and impressions, your clicks to impressions ratio is a lot more concrete and a lot easier to see, okay? And fortunately, this is one of those places where Amazon actually does calculate this rather accurately. Not like they do their affiliate one, because hello, their affiliates is always all over the place. But this one, what we're going to do is we're going to look at this line right here. And you can see where it says it's the COS SP 1 at 08 cents. So you can see what that means. As I've already explained to you how I do my naming, this is my Cost of Survival series with book 1. It's a sponsored product ad. I started it in October of 2017. There is no end date. This is my daily budget of $1 because this is my keyword data one, okay? Now what we're going to be looking at right here are these three numbers. And I'm going to scroll up so you can see what it looks like on your dashboard. It says impressions, clicks, average CPC, spend, estimated total sales, and your ACOS. Okay, so these three right here are the ones we're going to be looking at. So let's scroll down again. Here it is right here. Now, as you can see, I have 92,772 impressions. Now again, we're just looking at this line right here. Then you can see that on this one, I have 230 clicks, with the cost of those clicks averaging about 4 cents, which means it can go up as high as 8 cents, because remember, that's what my bid is at, was 8 cents, or it can be as low as 1 cent. So if it's averaging at about 4 cents, I'm betting I'm paying mostly 5 cents for those, with the outliers being 8 and 1. I've spent $8.23 on 230 clicks. This is almost 100,000 impressions. Okay, this is actually a really great number, and I'm going to show you how I can tell that. So I'm going to show you how I calculate that, like the long way, and then I'm going to show you the shortcut. Are you ready? Okay, so what I have is I have my little mini calculator here, and he's my friend because we're buddies. Okay, so the first number I'm going to type in is 92,772 because that's my impressions. Okay, then I'm going to hit my divide. Then I'm going to divide it by my clicks right here, the 230. All right, so that gives me 403. You can ignore these unless it's over the number 5 and it's closer to the, it's closer to the 10 mark or whatever, because then you can just round it up. But for me, I'm just going to settle with 403 since it's 0.35. Okay, so that's 403. I have a document here. We're going to bring it up. So I had 230. I had 92772, and what this gave me when I divided my impressions by my clicks, it gave me 403. Oops. Okay. So then how I would say this is I would actually say that for every 403 impressions, I would get a click. So that is 1 click for every 403 impressions. That is pretty great. So I can round it and say 400. So 1 for every 400 clicks, and I would write that as this. So 1 to 400 for my clicks to impressions. So that means that every time my ad is shown 400 times, it gets 1 click. So that's, since I've gone by that many and I can see that number, we'll go back in. Since I can actually see that number and I can see that, yes, I get 230 clicks out of 92,000, that is excellent data. Right there, that is excellent data. So, and obviously it's been running since October. It's been almost running a year. And I just put some of these, you'll see my low spending ones, see this? You'll see how I calculate that and how I just kind of let them sit there. I have these paused right now because I'm doing a refresh. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you on these next ones right here. These are my other data calculating ones. You can see where it's 8 cents, 10 cents. Here's another one that I did for 18 cents because that was a thriller series. So what we're going to do is I'm going to teach you the fast way of calculating these so you don't have to go in and do a whole document or even pull out your calculator. Okay? So here's what you're going to focus on. See where the comma is? You're going to ignore this number. Don't look at that number anymore. Okay? So my goal for clicks to impressions ratio is at least 1 in 1,000. So I have to have 1 click per 1,000 impressions. That's pretty basic. If it's better than that, yeah, baby. If it's worse than that, then I start looking at things like, how many impressions do I have? How many this? How many this? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but for the most part, just for our purposes right now, for gathering our data, we are just going to focus on how do we tell if that is actually a good impressions calculator or ratio or not. Okay, so ignore the number to the right of the comma. All right, nice and slow. Ignore that number. Pretend it says 0. What we're going to compare is this number and this number. This number here is 44. This number is 69. So I know that this number, since it's bigger than this number, my ratio is going to be less than 1 in 1,000 click, 1 click per 1,000. That is excellent. That puts us down in the 1 in 400 range. Now, to show you what I mean, let's look again. So 44246 divided by 69, that gives me 650. So what that's telling me is that for every 650 impressions, I'm getting a click. I love that. That's great. And this is actually an excellent one too that I love. I've been stealing off this for my keywords. Okay, so then we'll go down to this one. Again, we're ignoring the numbers to the right of the comma. So that gives me 181 to look at right here. So 181, and looking at this number, 267. If this number, again, is bigger than this number, I am beating my goal of 1 click per 1,000 impressions. Okay, this number is almost double. So I can tell that that is a definite win. Okay, now let's look at the bottom one. So you're going to look at this one, and I'm just going to give you a second, and I want you to look at it. This number right here, compared to this number, is this number bigger than or less than this number? Well, obviously it's less than. So what that tells me is that my clicks to impressions are not that great. So now I'm going to actually look at that one a little bit closer and see 93,533 divided by 48. That gives me almost 2,000 impressions. So when I do this, I have to look at this one later, and I'll be looking at that and saying, okay, I'm getting 1 click per 2,000 impressions. For me, that's going to be something I'm going to have to go into and dive a little bit deeper into, and we'll get into that in week 3. But for now, this one I would be watching a little bit. I don't know that I would keep this one going, or if I would just go in and start studying the keywords. So you always need to have a goal. You set your own goal. If you're happy with 1 in 2,000, then that's what you need to be happy with. My goal is always 1 in 1,000. So 1 to 1,000 is my goal. So you need to set your goal. And once you set your goal, that's how you calculate it. Now go ahead and use our tip sheet that we have on how to calculate with the equations. It'll walk you through how to do it. And I hope to see you in the next one when we are covering clicks to purchases. Don't contain your excitement. Just go ahead and squeal because you're in the privacy of your office. Go ahead, squeal out your excitement. It's going to be fun.